Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Reds, and this is a special episode on our transfers in and out, looking at our sales and looking at our purchases of this summer of 25-26 season. Myself and Naj are going to rate the window. We're going to look at through all the transfers and which one's going to be a success potentially for Liverpool, which player we're going to miss the most in terms of the departures, and do we think they're going to be successful elsewhere as well? We're also going to be rating our Liverpool window, which did end just under a week ago, which ended quite spectacularly. After a not for sale sign all summer, we finally got the deal done for Alexander Isak, but we did fail on our centre back target in Mark Gahey as well. So it was a dramatic end to what we would consider, as I'm sure Nigel would consider as well, many Liverpool fans would consider a very successful transfer window for Liverpool. One of probably the most successful in my lifetime, I've got to be honest, and one that we are absolutely delighted with this summer. Finally, we're looking to see ambition off the pitch as well as on the pitch. Let's see if Arne Slot can succeed now with his team, with his players going forward. So let's have a look at. We'll start off, Nigel, right? We'll start off with our sales. Also, the biggest sale was Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich for 70 million euros. Then it goes down to Darwin Nunez for 53 million euros to Al Hilal. Quanta went to Leverkusen, Dirk to Bournemouth, which for 23 million euros was quite a lot for Ben Dirk. Kelleher went for 14 million euros to Brentford. And then it was Alexander Arnold, obviously, earlier on, which wasn't a transfer as such, but it was. We did get money back from it. Tyler Morton going to Lyon, Nat Phillips on his way out to West Brom. And we also learned out a few players as well in terms of Nat Phillips, Harvey Elliott, Simicas, Yaros, and Harvey Davis for loans as well. So going on those names there, Naj, which one do you think is the best deal selling wise?
For me, probably either one of the academy players that we sold. I think Diaz is not Diaz. I think Nunez is a pretty good deal. I'd argue that Luis Diaz is a good deal as well, but I didn't really want to sell Diaz, to be honest. So I'm not really keen. I know it's a good price we got for him with a 29-year-old, but yeah, I'd say probably Nunez was a good deal if you think about how poor he was at times in Liverpool, and obviously a lot of the media jumped on top of him. I'd probably say for me, Quanta and Doak, really, really good sales. I actually think that probably the worst sale, which you're probably going to get onto, is probably Kelleher, because I think we could have got a lot more for him. I really do, because he's that
euros,
he's that good. But yeah, probably Quanta for me, because obviously if we'd have got a certain Mark Gahey in on the window, it would have been the same price as what we sold Quanta for, which if you think about it, Quanta's on a long-term loan for Liverpool, essentially. He can come back in 2 years and stuff like that.
But and that's the best part of that deal, isn't it? Where they can get him back for the buyback clause.
Yeah, well, apparently signed the terms anyway to come back to Liverpool. When he comes back, the terms are already in place for him to when he comes back. So I think it's a good deal, and I think 35 million, pounds, wasn't it? 34 million, whatever, euros. Great deal. But I think if we got Gahey in with that money, it'd have been even greater. But I mean, for me, that's probably the best deal. Worst, I would say, probably just because Diaz is such a crucial player, so probably worse. But I can't say it's really bad because of how much money we sort of made on him. But for me, definitely Kelleher, because I think Kelleher was so good. And you look at the keepers that have been bouncing around the league at the minute and bouncing around Europe and going getting sold. United just bought that Le Mans, whatever his name is, for more than Kelleher. And he's a better, I can tell you for a fact.
Yeah,
Keller's a Premier League proven goalkeeper, so yeah, miles better.
I'm going to go on to that Diaz situation. Diaz transfer 70 million euros. And we said all summer, didn't we? We started beginning of summer. Look, if Diaz goes, as long as he's replaced, then I'm happy with that. If Diaz stays, I'm happy with that. I think I was very consistent in yours as well in terms of Diaz. But we didn't really get a replacement. Ryan Gamero coming through. No one can deny his talent. Number one, he's going to be our star. I'm happy to be back up to Gakpo, especially Ekitike can play left as well. Wirtz can play left as well. But I still think we could have replaced Diaz as a forward, if that makes sense. 70 million euros. Good deal in the end for a player that's going into 2 years left of his contract. Didn't want to be at the club. 7 million euros, pretty decent amount of money. But like you said, we didn't really replace him, did we? That's the issue with that.
No, replacement at all. I think, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Luis Diaz, so he's trying to like take my hat off of being a fan of Luis Diaz. I think he's a brilliant player. I think, people obviously jumped on the fact that he didn't score enough and stuff like that. His record's still great. It's just I think us as fans expected Sadio Mane regen, and I think that's what we thought we was getting. He got injured, but then when he come back, he really worked hard and he got back into the team. And he had a lot of jeopardy happening when he was at Liverpool, and after that he did really well. Last season, I think he was pivotal for us winning the league. To be honest, like you've got to think he went and played out of position and won the league for a team that could have had a lot more. Let's say we was basically last season we was going, we need players for this position, and we won the league at a canter. So he did really well. So yeah, I think I don't know. It's a good price, but you can't argue it's not a bad. If we sold him for like 40 million, I've been like, oh, what's the point? But we sold him for 65. So it for me, it's not amazing, but it's good at the same time. Like it's almost like the annoyance of him being sold is cancelled out by the fact that we sold him for such a good profit, and then
yeah. Sale of Luis Diaz is one that we're sort of happy with the transfer fee, but we weren't really particularly happy about him leaving as such. But 70 million euros for a player that wanted to be out and was not going to be signed to a new contract. Let's be honest, Liverpool didn't want to sign him to a new contract. It's probably a good fee for him, and obviously Villar coming through is brilliant anyway. So we're just trying to talk about Kwanzaa and Kwanzaa and Ben Doak specifically, because the price we got for them, and Martin went for 10 million euros as well, but Ben Doak 23.2 million euros for a player that has I bags of potential for me, and I thought it'd been all right as a backup for Salah this season. I'd have been happy with that as a backup for Salah. I thought he showed a lot in pre-season. He's not going to be maybe not Liverpool level, but I think just in terms of depth and that we need for the season, going all four fronts, I think Doak could be important. But it's a good move for him to Bournemouth, a very, very good place to be in right now, especially with Bournemouth absolutely flying right now as well. 23 million euros, though. Would you expect about that price for Doak? Or do you think we could have got less?
I thought it was about 10. I'll be honest with you. But then with Michael Edwards, anything's possible. I think we've sold a lot to Bournemouth in the past, and I think we've got quite a good relationship with them. Obviously, if you think about it, I mean, I sort of think about things like this because I think it works out quite well if you do. If you think about it, like we got Kirkes for what, 15 million, the way I look at it. Like, yeah, not a lot of money. Obviously, we sold Solanke for a big fee to them in the past. They obviously profited off that as well. Maybe something happened with Doak in the future that they could profit off that. I think he was really good in the Championship last season. I just think with Doak, it's the same old, isn't it? You're behind Salah. It's the pecking order, isn't it? And I do think he's good. I think he's a great player. But all saying all that, I think Engamo's ceiling is stupidly high. Do you know what I mean? I think Doak's a good player, but Engamo's that good, you don't need to loan him. Put it that way. So I think that's why he sort of went, because it'll go like for me. You got your main front three, probably, and we'll get onto that. We don't know that at the minute, do we? But let's just say the front threes, for argument's sake, what started the season: Ekitike, Salah, and Gakpo. And then after that, Engamo with left wing. And then obviously we've got Chiesa, right wing sort of striker as well. It's like how many players down is Doak from that? I think Engamo might even start right ahead of Doak sometimes, because I think Engamo is pretty bow-footed, as you can see. So yeah, how far down would he be? I'm not discrediting his talent, but it's just, yeah, it's how far down. And if you get the best price from now, then why not? Why not sell him? Why not let him flourish his career on? I think he's had a good time being at Liverpool in terms of, like, he's got experience in the Champions League, he's got experience in the Europa League, he's got experience in, he's had games, hasn't he, where he's come on, played at half an hour or 20 minutes, stuff like that. I know he's not played a lot of games, but yeah, I mean, the time's right, the price is right, the club's right. Why not sell him?
I think with Ben Doak, though, I think he is a very, very good level, but is he ever going to be, not that Salah level, because it's really hard to get that Salah level, even though we're linked with like Michael Olise right now, but is he even going to get Olise's level? That's the issue. So right now, whilst the iron's hot sort of thing, whilst he's a good price, it probably is better to sell him on now. And it does deserve first team football somewhere else. And someone else that does deserve first team football and has not been sold, in fact, has been loaned out, is Harvey Elliott. This is the one for me where I'm like, it sort of pains me to watch him go out the door a little bit because I wanted him to work out. I thought he could work out. I thought he'd be brilliant. Back up to, say, Florian Wirtz. He's been a game changer for the last 2-3 years in games. He actually been a game changer. But it deserves first team football at a good level. Aston Villa is a perfect club for him.
Yeah, I think he's great. There's always that little asterisk next to Elliott with his physicality, and I think that's what lets him down at Liverpool. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing in terms of like it's just the way he is. Liverpool have always been like strong, fast players in them positions. Like we don't really have players of Harvey Elliott sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like mobility. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. And I think, Florian Wirtz coming in, Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz is like, he works hard. I'm not saying Elliott doesn't, but he's quick as well. He works hard. He's quick. He's quite a powerful runner when he gets on the ball. Same with Szoboszlai as well. That's the attacking mid position. And then I don't think I even need to speak about Salah. We all know he's a flying machine, even at 33. Like, he just smokes people. And yeah, Harvey Elliott, it's like it's almost you have to adapt your whole game around him when he comes on the pitch. If he comes on the right wing position, however, if he does come on in a cam position when he plays attacking mid, he's very, very good. And I think we've both spoken about this, that we think he's very, very good in the attacking mid role. But yeah, like we bought Florian Wirtz. So as soon as Florian Wirtz came out, I knew Harvey Elliott's days were numbered in terms of him being at Liverpool, just because he's almost third down the fourth. Even could be even argue fourth. McAllister plays attacking mid as well. Fourth down the pecking order. So
it's hard for him to leave because he wants to play for Liverpool. He wants to play for Liverpool the rest of his career. But at the end of the day, he's got to think about himself. He's got to be selfish on this. He's got to look at his England career. He's got to look at his whole career. Play some football. Go succeed somewhere else. I think Aston Villa is a very, very, very good move for him. And there's always the option of maybe keeping Elliott potentially in the future because he's only on loan. But I can't see it personally. I think Aston Villa, if it's a successful loan, I can see Aston Villa getting him, if I'm honest, long term. And whatever happens to Morgan Rodgers as well in the future, who knows? Because there's talked about Liverpool and Morgan Rodgers, and there could be a deal in place for that. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Tyler Morton, another good move out of the door to Lyon. I think that's a good move for him as well. A very, very good club. And I think it was 2 weeks ago he played his debut. He was man of the match straight away. Sensational player. I think, again, like Dirk, like Elliott potentially, maybe not that Liverpool level, but deserves a very good level. And Lyon is a beautiful club to go to for Tyler Morton. I think for him to go out of his comfort zone as well and go into France and go to a different league, different country, I think that's really testament to his character.
He's ripping it up on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's testament to his character, and go out there and maybe come back to the Premier League in a couple of years' time and see how it goes out there. But I think he will rip it up in the league, and they did it. I said he got man of match performance for Lyon's opening game. Sensational there. Was I think 3-0 win in the end? I think it was 219.5 million euros we got back in sales this summer. Now we're going to look at the transfers, the players coming in to Liverpool. We'll start off with the cheapest ones. Obviously, Mamardashvili was bought last year, went on loan to Valencia for a year, come back this time. Freddie Woodman coming in for free from Preston. Giovanni Leone for 31 million, which is the cheapest. 31 million euros, which is the cheapest from Parma. Jeremy Frimpong, just mentioned there, 40 million euros from Leverkusen. Milos Kerkez, 46.9 million from Bournemouth. This is in euros, guys, by the way, not pounds. Yuga Katike, then Frankfurt, 95 million euros. Florian Wirtz, 125 million euros. Think, oh, there we go. That's probably our most expensive one this summer. Nah. Depends who you ask. Newcastle fans, depends who you ask. Our most expensive transfer this summer is 145 million euros for Alexander Isak, which equals to around 125 million pounds. What a window, Naj. What a window.
I think I was almost like in awe of like, how the hell have we signed him? Like in Florian Wirtz, I was like, how the hell have we got him through the door? Because when when it all happened at the time, it was like, oh, City gonna get him. De Bruyne replacement, City gonna get him. And he just went through one shot of Arne Slot, and he said, "Ciao." I'm not gonna say the rest.
We didn't even realize that we were going to go for an attacking midfielder. I said we need one. I said we need a proper 10 because Szoboszlai is not a proper 10. No offense, Szoboszlai, but it's not a proper 10. It's an 8 for me. And I said that all the time. So we need an attacking midfielder. It's not one of my priorities. So for when we're going for an attacking midfielder, it kind of shocked me a little bit. I was like, okay. And then to get probably one of the best ones, if not the best one in the world at the time, that is a big statement. And we talked about earlier about Bayern Munich. When Bayern Munich come in for German players, when Bayern Munich scout off other clubs in the Bundesliga, it's pretty much a done deal. That's what they do.
What a guy for not doing the typical German thing and going to the Bayern Munich. Like, fair play to him, going abroad, going playing into the Premier League. Like, how often does that happen now? It never happens, does it? Like, they always go to Bayern. It's the tail of the whole time.
It's an easy transfer, and it's an easy decision to make for a Bundesliga player to just go to Bayern, especially a German player. Just go to Bayern, go to the best team in Bundesliga and do it all there. Stay in Germany and not test yourself elsewhere. But for Florian Wirtz to make that move, yeah, I do see. Sometimes Bundesliga players go to the biggest ones. Normally go to the La Liga, of the Premier League. But to test yourself and come to the Premier League, it hasn't quite worked out just as yet. But we've got to remember it's 3 games, like 3 games in here. Florian Wirtz is too good not to work out for me. People look at his price tag, and I've said it many, many times. Price tags mean fuck all to me. They mean absolutely fuck all. I don't care if you're 8 million or 100 million. The only people that should matter about is the club. Are you willing to pay that much? The players, they don't ask for those price tags. The players do not ask for these price tags. So to put a price tag on a player saying, "Are you 100 million? Why are you not playing to a £100 million player?" I didn't put, as a player, you don't put the price tag on yourself.
No.
They've got to do their best and they've got to achieve. I think Florian Wirtz, will it be a success in terms of the price tag? It's hard to say because no one for me, my personal opinion, no one's worth £125 million at all. I think prices in terms of football should be capped at like £80 million. I think that's as much as I see players should be worth £80 million, no more. But will he perform to the best ability he can at Florian Wirtz? I believe he can. I think he'd be an absolute success at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And when it happens, we'll see it happen. It's shown in the signs. I know it's been 3 games in and he hasn't hit the ground running yet as such. But I think he's showing signs. One thing he will show is his movement and his ability to find space. That's one thing he will always do no matter what. I'm not worried about what he can do on the ball at the moment. As long as he keeps going, finding space, finding those opportunities. It's a bit like a striker. Sometimes you might not score, but as long as you keep going and finding those, getting those chances, then that's all I care about. Your form will come, your goal scoring record will come. And same with the passing on the ball and what he can do on the ball. That'll come with time. He's got to get used to the physicality of the league. That's probably been a big shock to him, if I'm honest. But I think it will be a successful signing. He's got, like I said, I don't think anyone's worth £125 million anyway, or 125 million euros, whatever it is. I just think focus on the player. If he brings trophies to Liverpool and if he's a big part of that, that's a success to me.
I think his mentality is absolutely elite because he almost like if he doesn't succeed in terms of he loses the ball, like you just said, then he loses the ball, he still goes, he still carries on. Like he's got elite mentality, and I think you can see players get swallowed up by the Prem and they just go into themselves like a shell. I actually think he doesn't look like that, does he? Just like, all right, whatever, and that's it's quite a nonchalant attitude to have, but I just think he just doesn't care because he knows how good he is. And that mentality thing goes back to what we said just previous, like moving from the Bundesliga, not the easy option, and going to the hardest league in the world and going playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. He picked the hard option. He picked the hardest option he could have done.
Another signing we brought from the Bundesliga was Hugo Ekitike, and when we spoke about Ekitike and Wirtz coming in before, Wirtz is already at that level, that world-class level. Surely he doesn't need bedding time. He's the one that's going to hit the ground running, if anyone. Ekitike is still playing for Frankfurt, still not played that world-class level yet. He might take some time. It switched round. Ekitike has been fantastic. All 3 games so far, including the Community Shield as well. He's been a breath of fresh air. What's helped us massively with Ekitike is the fact that we have been allowed to wait for Isak. It's been worth waiting for Isak because of how Ekitike's played so far. If Ekitike didn't hit the ground running, we're like, why didn't we get Isak done early? Why should we be pushing on? This wait for Isak might have hurt us. But Ekitike has been sensational so far since he's joined Liverpool. His energy, his link-up play has been fantastic. His ability to not just be a striker, but be a full footballer in terms of the whole forward play. This has got to be a successful signing.
Frightening, isn't it? But not for us. I think, you know what? I was so happy to be proven wrong. I thought he'd really struggle. I wasn't a fan of him coming in, to be honest, in terms of, like, I don't know, like, I just felt it's too much of a risk. Look, it should have been 4 games, so, you know, I could be right. I don't want to be right, but I was just a bit worried about the physicality of the Premier League. You know, it's hard old league, and like I say, a lot of players, said literally about 5 minutes ago, players get swallowed up by it. But he just seems sound. Doesn't he? Just like embracing everything. It's just like, yeah, straight in, stuck in.
Taking him to his stride, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just like what FTK's done since he's come in. And yet, he surprised me very much. Like, I think he surprised everyone that, you know, we thought Florian Wirtz, he sounds as he come in. He's the one who struggled a little bit. Same with Milos Kerkez as well. Milos Kerkez has been the most surprising for me. I think he was really good against Arsenal.
He's the one that's been Premier League bought as well.
Yeah, that's the one that's confused me.
Yeah.
Like, hang on, he was in the Prem. He was playing in the Prem for 2 seasons. And Ekitike's, if any of the signings that we've made so far, you know, who's played, Ekitike's the one who's had the least experience, like you said. Least experience in big games, least experience as a top club, least experience
internationally,
least experience sort of being in the mix. What I mean, like, he's obviously got benched a lot at PSG. He didn't really play a lot at the start at Frankfurt, but, you know, he's probably had the least amount of time of being good, if you like, and he's been the one who's been absolutely brilliant. And I'm looking forward to potential a left wing and a striker scenario with a certain someone. I don't know his name, but I think you can tell me who it is.
Ekitike, we've got an absolute player in our hands, and Isak coming in now. Speak about Isak coming in now. He's not guaranteed a first team place right now. The way Ekitike is playing, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We need that healthy competition up front. And I've been saying, like, Isak will take some time coming in. It might 2-3 games, but it's okay. It's okay if it takes 2-3 games because Ekitike is doing what he's doing. It helps massively, like he is. Regarding Isak, though, 145 million euros, but about 125 million pounds altogether. Yeah, it's a signing that we all wanted, like last year. Yes, you know, the last couple of years. That is excited a lot of teams across Europe. Arsenal were the ones that looked like we were going to get him at some point. Arsenal were the favourites to get him. I didn't even think we would even be able to bother in for him. I know they would talk about getting a striker this time. For me, Isak's probably the most complete striker in world football, especially at the age that he is as well. Still not in his prime yet. I thought we were going to get a striker. He's the best on market, but we go for him and we didn't give up. And we did it the right way. Look, at the end of the day, we didn't force Newcastle to sell, but I think we did in the end. I think Isak himself forced Newcastle to sell, and at a cheaper price. They were never going to get 150 million euros in the million, 150 million pounds. Never in a million years we're going to get that. But as much as it sounds mad, 145 million euros could be a bargain.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be. You know, if we look at it, I always look at it sort of like how much you win for the Prem, how much you win for the Champions League. If Isak brings us that this season, paid for, don't even have to worry about it. So I think, yeah. I mean, it's almost like the perfect transfer window for me. We've got potential striker in Ekitike, and his potential's ridiculous. And then we've got not the finished product, but almost the finished product. We've got a world-class player in Alexander Isak, and it's honestly frightening. It's frightening. I just, when it clicks, I just think it'll be like below teams away.
Although Kirk hasn't worked out specifically yet because he hasn't really played well for the last 3 games. We've got to be honest here on this channel. He hasn't played well. It's not been a success yet. But Kirkes and Frimpong was probably the 2 best options in those positions. To lose Trent, fair enough. To go get Frimpong, fantastic business. To go get Kirkes, who was the best left back in the Premier League last season, fantastic business. They will work out at some point. I think they're fantastic signings, both of them in their own rights. I think they offers a lot going forward, but can defend as well, which is fantastic. But one transfer for me is going to go under the radar is Giovanni Leone, regarded as one of the best centre-backs in world football in terms of his age and the potential that he has. People talking Van Dijk level potential, but it's hard to really put that on anyone. Van Dijk level is just insane. But to be a world-class level potential is good enough for me. And Leone is very, very well scouted, very well touted as one of the best in the world at his age.
Yeah.
How good a transfer do you think this could be in the end?
Well, put it this way, I'm not going to comment and say no loads about Leone. I don't. But I've heard, watched clips and stuff like that. He looks decent. What I've seen so far, he looks fast, which is obviously a big thing. Fast, big, good on the ball. It's, certain Van Dijk's like that, isn't he? But yeah, I think what better than to be sort of the physical attributes of Van Dijk at 18, what better thing to have than learn off him right now? I think, if you can learn off someone like him, and obviously see quite a few people saying about him learning off Bastoni as well in the national team. Both of them, Bastoni's a brilliant centre-back as well.
So that brings the total of the spend to 482.9 million euros. 482.9 million euros. So all in all, I'm going to do this in pounds, though, the overall net spend. So the net spend we've got this summer, 235 million pounds in net spend, sales plus the money received back in from the sales and the transfers were made this season. Less than Arsenal in terms of net spend, second to Arsenal in net spend. But we've been asking for a bit of ambition off the pitch from FSG for quite a while. And at the time of the criticism they got, the criticism was absolutely valid at the time. People at FSG out for a reason. It didn't come from nothing here. But fair play to them. Praise when it's praise is due, flowers when flowers are due, credit is when credit is due, credit needs to be given. That's exactly what they're going to get right now. Michael Edwards and Richie Hughes, fair play to them for pulling out a sensational transfer window. There was issues, obviously Matt Gay, he should have come through the door. I think he could either be earlier, maybe pay that £5-10 million. It's probably not worth the risk and not getting him for me. I still think we need a DM as such, but I don't mind waiting, having had the window we have had.
Yeah.
For me, we've had a sensational window to the point where I can actually don't mind not getting a certain position in. And that's a lot for me to say because I expect our issues to be solved. I think the Maggie sort of takes a little bit of rating off for me, not getting him through over the door, through the door. I think that would have taken it to a 10 out of 10. I'll be honest. If Matt Gahey came in on transfer deadline day, that would have been a 10 out of 10 window for me. What's your rating for the overall window?
I'd say like a 9 for me. I'd say exactly the same as you, on the same wavelength. 10 if Gahey comes in 9.5. 9.5. I'd probably say. Isak's massive, isn't it? It's massive.
I think I'm going to say, I want to say 9, but I might say an 8.5 just because of the fact that I'm just worried about Konate a little bit. If he continues to play like he did against Arsenal, perfect. But it's also his injury record that I do worry about because not getting Matt Gay off the line could be a big, big thing for Liverpool this season. But I think it's definitely an 8.5, 9. I won't argue with 9 at all. At all. I can see it might be a 9. 9.5 I think is a bit too high because of that lack of that defender there and maybe a DM. But it is what it is. I think it's been a fantastic window for Liverpool. Probably the best in terms of, since I've been born anyway, the best, most ambitious transfer window I've seen. And fair play to Richard Hughes, like I said, fair play to Michael Edwards, and fair play to FSG to allow this to happen, to allow us to spend this sort of money. And we're not left short in certain areas of the pitch, finally. And we've got a very, very good squad going forward. Alan Slott's probably got the best, maybe